Everybody, welcome back to Exploring Temecula. So for the last 2 or 3 months, I've been getting a lot of calls from Northern California, Oregon, Washington State, basically questions about should we move to Southern California and specific questions on Temecula. So I thought it would be a really good idea to do a video on my 5 top tips if you plan on moving to Temecula in 2022. There's a lot to go over and a lot to think about if you're going to make a huge move like this. And I just wanted to go over, my experience in not only moving to Temecula or around Southern California myself over the last 10 or 15 years, but just what things have maybe changed in the last year in Temecula. Hopefully it'll give you a good idea and a starting point to, in regards to what you really need to plan and think about before your move. If you're interested in Temecula, this is the channel. We do everything about not only Temecula, but the surrounding area, keep you updated on the housing market monthly. I'm starting restaurant reviews next week. I've got tons of footage of restaurants that we've just tried around the area, and I'll give you my thoughts on whether or not, or what we liked and what we didn't like. We have home searches in every single one of the descriptions in YouTube, so if you're looking for a home to purchase, that's a very good tool for you moving forward. And then also, we are licensed as a real estate appraisal company, so if you need a home value, we can do that accurately. I've hit on it in the last couple videos about Zillow, and in my opinion, do not trust Zillow for your home value. Please reach out to somebody that you trust or know that is going to be a good job or do a good job. And then on top of that, maybe even if you need something, more accurate, find somebody that's a licensed appraiser. So having said all that, let's get into the video. Okay guys, so here are the 5 best tips I can personally give you before moving to Temecula in 2022. Because we are a brokerage here in Temecula, the top 2 things that I'm going to talk about is purchasing or renting a property. First thing that I wanted to talk about, and everybody is aware of this, throughout America, home prices have gone up substantially. So in the past year and a half in Temecula, the same home that was $550,000 is now $750,000 in many cases. So just make sure that the square footage that you're used to is going to work for you if you have to downsize when coming to Temecula. There's a big difference between a 3,000 square foot home and a 2,000 square foot home, especially, if you have a larger family. So just double check on that, talk about that. Number 2, and this goes for both renting and purchasing. I've noticed over the last 6 months, I work with a lot of buyers from out of state, Northern California, Seattle area, and Washington State. And the number one thing that I can give you from my experience is the cost of actually getting here, getting a hotel, paying for food, paying for a rental car. And this could take 3 or 4 trips for you to get an offer accepted because of how competitive the market is. So just be aware that every time you come down here to see a home or 2 homes or 3 homes, that it could cost you $1,000, $1,500 for the plane ticket. And in regards to the plane ticket, a lot of times this is last minute, so they're going to be more expensive as well. So just be aware that there are going to be costs incurred just coming down here to find a property, especially if you're coming down 3, 4, 5 times until you get an offer accepted. Next, I wanted to get into rentals, and I want everybody to be aware that the rental market is just as tough in many cases as purchasing a property. Make sure that you have credit reports pulled. Make sure that you have a job that you can basically prove that you make 3 times what rent is per month. I'm not saying that everybody is going to be asking for this, but it's very common now. So, if you are planning on moving to Temecula and renting a property, you might want to do your research. Make sure that you got everything, all your ducks in a row, you might want to call it, and you are a high-end tenant in the eyes of a homeowner. Because if you are not, there's going to be, I've heard instances where there's 50 applicants for one home. So if I was personally going to do it as a renter, I would get down here, maybe find something that's short term, 3 to 4 months, so you can find either a purchase or a rental in many cases. And if you cannot do that on the rental side, I just don't think that you should be picky. You know, sign a 1-year lease, get in a home, and then over that year, see where the market is, see where the areas of Temecula, you know, that you really like. Or, I mean, do you want to be in South Temecula? Do you want to be in North Temecula? What communities of Temecula do you like? What amenities in each community fit your needs the best? So these are all things not only for renting, but also purchasing. You know, on the purchase side, you need to talk to an agent that understands the area and can tell you about amenities, that can tell you about taxes on each specific home. And these are all things that, you know, do take time, but I'm telling you, in the long run, it's going to help you immensely in being successful in either the purchasing or renting of a home. If you are purchasing this, you know, goes without saying, you need a pre-approval letter. But my suggestion is to all buyers, you don't have to use my lender, but I always say get 2 or 3 different opinions on your pre-approval. Sometimes lenders, you know, they might give you back a larger credit. Sometimes the interest rate might be a little different. I don't know all the ins and outs of getting an approval letter, but I can tell you that getting a few opinions is always going to be better. One of the reasons I always push to get one from a local lender is they just know the area. You know, they know the tax rate. You know, they know the special assessments in the Melrose, and they'll be able to guide you probably a little better than somebody that might be in Northern California or a friend that's in Washington State that says that they're going to be able to, provide a loan for you. So those are the things that I wanted to talk about, and in regards to the best tips when it comes to purchasing or renting a home in Temecula. Okay, so next up, research the cost of living. I do have a couple really good videos breaking down what it costs each month to live in Temecula. I would say over the last 6 months to a year, the biggest changes are home prices and what your either mortgage or monthly rental payment is going to be. Utilities are going up in cost. Gas has gone up substantially, and because of, regardless of the reason, whether it's supply chain issues, whether it's inflation, even something simple as going out to eat, over the last year, literally we were going to eat, spending $40, $50. Now a lot of times it's up to, $70, $75. So everything is going up in price. I just went to the grocery store yesterday. I got some broccoli and 2 peppers. I mean, that was $7. I just can't believe how much costs have gone up. So be aware of what the costs are. Now, on the utility side, one of the things that Southern California has really moved towards in the last 10 years, and this is if you're purchasing a home, is solar. My suggestion, a lot of sellers are taking the hit. I've done videos on whether or not to buy solar. Sometimes it's not the best thing, but in the case of purchasing a property, one of the best things is being able to purchase this home and having the seller pay it off at the end of escrow. So you're not having that solar payment, and really the seller on the sale is taking the hit, which, especially if you have a pool, especially if you have a large lot, a large home, those electric bills in the summer can be anywhere from $400 to $700. So be aware, for 4 months, you are going to have large utility bills, and the solar, if you can buy a home with solar, is definitely going to alleviate that. I would say on average, let's just say a solar panel system now is going to cost around $30,000. I don't know too much about it, but I think that you can work that into your payment. So that is an option if the home that you end up with does not have solar. The one thing I can say with solar, when you're purchasing it, what it does is it basically evens out the playing field. So instead of having the $500, $600, $700 bills for 4 or 5 months of the year, it basically levels it off. So maybe your bill is only $200 a month. So, in the winter months when you're not using as much electricity or you're not in the pool, it's still a little higher, but then it evens out those months in the summer where you are using the pool and using the air conditioning a lot. Okay, next up, savings. I've moved a lot throughout Southern California, and even, going 50 miles or 100 miles, the costs do add up. Let's not even talk about buying a home, but let's just go into rentals. A lot of times you're going to have first and last month's rent. You're going to have furniture. You're going to have to rent a moving truck. You're going to have to pay for movers. These things, I'm telling you, at the end are going to be, thousands and thousands of dollars. I would say that if you don't have employment lined up right away and you are planning on moving to Temecula safely, $15,000 to $30,000, I would personally feel comfortable with, and that is going to go very, very quickly. So just make sure before you make the move to Temecula that you, beef up your savings, and it'll make the move a lot less stressful. One of the things that I can say with Temecula that will save you money, garage sales and Facebook Marketplace are just two things. When you get here and you need furniture, you need household items, you need a barbecue, it will save you a lot of money going to these garage sales, which we almost have every single weekend. Southern California is big on garage sales, and some of the furniture are pennies on the dollar for what you would actually find buying it brand new. Facebook Marketplace, I say that because again, you can find high quality things, and I feel that the safety issue, when you compare it to maybe other sites like Craigslist, it's a little safer to do it that way using Facebook Marketplace. Okay, so next up, I strongly suggest in regards to employment that you have something already here. Don't expect to come to Temecula and get a job right away that's going to pay all the bills. Yes, Southern California is expensive. Just filling up your car now with gas is, $5 a gallon. So make sure, in my opinion, make sure that you have employment lined up, and you know what your expenses and you know what you're going to be bringing in each month before you make this huge jump. As I've mentioned in other videos, a lot of Temecula is a commuter city. So a lot of people are going to San Diego, they're going to Orange County, and even LA. If that's something that you are not willing to do to find employment that's going to pay the bills, you better have something solid here, that's going to allow you to make anywhere from, let's say $3,000 to $6,000 to $7,000 a month. Because if you're not making decent money here, it is going to be tough. Do your research. One of the things that, and I say this a lot in my videos, I'm not talking about me. You don't have to use me, but what you do need to do is find somebody in the community that really understands everything that you need to know and is going to answer your questions. Why would you live north Temecula? Why would you live in Murrieta? Why would you live in south Temecula? What communities have pools? What communities have walking paths? How close is the school to where the community is? Where are the grocery stores in comparison to the house? There's every situation, every buyer has different needs, and being able to talk to somebody that can explain that to you very clearly is going to take a lot of stress off of you. For instance, I just had a buyer call me about basketball and how good is the basketball in Temecula. And this is going to bring me into my second point in way of researching. Join Temecula Talk. It's a Facebook group. You can ask these specific questions, and if your agent doesn't know the answer about little tiny things, but they might be important to you, there's going to be 10 people on the Temecula Talk Facebook group that will give you all the information that you need. So what did I do in regards to the basketball? Just went to the Facebook group, asked the question, and I got 15 responses on what kids should be doing, for high-end basketball in Temecula. And this is, just some of the things that you can research inside this Facebook group if your agent doesn't know the answer right off the top of his head. So those are the 5 things, guys, that I would suggest, and probably some of the biggest things and hurdles that you're going to have to get over to move to Temecula. And if you can make the move, I know this video might have had a stressful type of overtone, and I'm just trying to warn you that as beautiful as it is here, make sure that you have a plan before you get to Temecula, because if you don't, it's going to be a stressful 3 or 4 or 5 months when really it didn't have to be. I'm just trying to save you money, save you time. So in closing, if you have any other further questions about Temecula, the surrounding area, please reach out to us. We'd be glad to help. And until next time, exploring Temecula.